Zingwe, Indlovukazi Yamadolo. I'm not alone, I'm with our legend, Dr. John Kani.
Thank you.
Okay, Tata Sukubonile, Sibonile TV, Black Panther, Sifundile, Nothing But the Truth, Sukulis Bugana Action. So, who is Dr. John?
Well, I'm the husband of a man who I got married to a very long time ago. I have 7 children, 4 sons and 3 daughters, and I have 10 grandchildren. And that's who I am. I'm a neighbor to my neighbors. I have a brother and sisters and all. The John Kani you want to know about is another person. And that person has never been to my house. I keep him where I work. I cannot boast that I'm a teacher, I'm a lecturer every time I walk around. I am who I am. And I am a member of my community. The only problem I have in myself is that I see, I care, I feel, I hurt. Everything that I see makes an impact in me. And I ask myself, why have I allowed this to happen? Is there anything I could have done for this not to happen? I don't sleep at night, not because there are tensions outside and guns going. I'm worried about my daughters. I'm worried about my sons. I don't want to wake up one day, we talk gender-based violence and femicide, and I ask myself, is there anything I could have done to that young man and made him understand that that woman he's just messed up or abused is exactly like his own mother, his own grandmother. Those are the things that bother me, and that's who I am.
So I know that you are from Eastern Cape. How did you manage to get out of Eastern Cape and be the legend that you are? Like, from to where you are today.
Where I was born, which is Ebeha, New Brighton, or Elizabeth, whatever, aka you want to call it, that's where the seed was planted. From a great-grandmother who was a storyteller, who used to tell us stories just before we go to sleep. And one day she asked me to tell a story. I said, well, I'm a child, I don't know how to tell stories. And she said, well, tell one of mine. I said, well, your stories are very long, but the time you finish, I must sleep already. And then she said, make it up. Make it up. That was the beginning of the writer in me, is to look into my community and tell stories that reflect the reality that is faced by my people in my community. Of course I had a dream. I had to wake up at night and all I hear is applause. I'm standing at the edge of the stage and there's bravo, maestro. I just don't know what I was doing. I went to piano lessons with this wonderful old teacher, and he went ding, ding. I said, no, I want to play a song. I don't want to go ding, ding, ding. And suddenly in 1965, I found the niche. I found the calling. I found the bug. But growing up under apartheid, during the struggle for liberation, everything you do as the youth had to be aligned to the struggle of our parents for a better South Africa and a liberated South Africa. And quickly, some of our teachers in that struggle underground were women. The women who politicized us, I still sometimes share a tear in my eye, with this Pretty. I don't know what happened to her. She's the one that told us the story that we as young black children are destined for the kingdom of a liberated South Africa, and that we must never see ourselves as subhuman to any other race. We are God's children, and we're created in the image of God. In that way, I decided to use my art to ventilate, first my own anger, and to deal with what I see in my father, who walks in the street and the policeman stops and immediately takes his hat off. And first I thought, come on, Dad, why are you doing this? And now I'm older, because I'm now 8 years old. I am so grateful to that old man because he made sure that I will live through to this day and be able to remember him with great respect and fond memories of how he was humiliated by apartheid so that I could survive. Yes.
So that we know that you're an author, a director, a scriptwriter, an actor. So what makes a great script?
It's to tell a story from a point of view of self, and to tell an honest story, and not to tell a story because in memory of other people's stories. Stories begin actually by you being bothered by a situation for yourself. And then you feel that I want to tell this story. I want to tell a story of this little girl who's raising 2 other siblings because the mom and dad passed on and grandmom just passed on as well. And she wakes up in the morning and gets these kids ready to school. She's a little bit of a piece of bread, if there is bread, dump them and then run to the high school because she's doing grade 11. And then in 11 she's studying hard. That's the story I know because my neighbor's daughter went through that story. And you've got to be honest and tell the truth. And in that process also, you've got to pursue excellence. Because you've got to grow as an artist. You say director, this and this. I just business diversifying. I sell everything. I make the bottle and I pour the Coke in the bottle and I sell the bottle. And I recycle the bottle. So that's what you do in the various genres of the art.
So Dr. Like, yintoni ekuchukumisayo ukuze ubhale mhlambi story about inhlupheko, about into yintoni lichukumise ukwazi ukubhala a script uqale yintoni uyive ngaphakathi kuyo?
I have a conscience and I think, and it bothers me when I see us walking around this campus and I'm seeing some young people, eager faces, eyes bright, thinking about the future, and I know I'm in that future now. And it worries me that I am not preparing this future to be ready to welcome the younger generation coming. I worry that are they studying the skills that are required out there in the market, or are they just have a BA with masters in theology and they don't want to be priests or preachers? I'm worried about are they learning the technical skills that would create the tools to grow our economy. I'm worried in the streets when I look at people that came to Johannesburg because they want a profession and they end up walking the streets at night. I'm worried, but I'm also celebrating the successes and the triumphs of our people. I'm celebrating the humanity of our people, the way our people feel. Just coming back from Paris. It's a world of going where you're going and get out and get back. Nobody sees nobody. I was in America and everywhere. People don't see each other. At least in South Africa, when you walk and there's somebody coming, they smile. And you don't know whether, do you know me? And it says, hi, and they say hi. So they still have the humanity, Ubuntu. They still see each other. I've just written a play called Kunene and the King, where I've use the situation where black and white in a free today South Africa interpret the changes that have taken place, and they see each other. They begin from very far distances of racial baggage for where we come from, and we talk about what we say in the presence of our children, and whereby then when we see a politician black on television, we see corruption. We see incompetence. When we see white businesses on television, we see hard work, we see hard achievement. When you watch certain television stations, they echo and against black excellence and black achievement. When you see other stories, they are not in recognition of the freedom and the rights of our young mothers, our mothers and our daughters, right? My son talks about all these things that we need to set up. Good men don't rape. I say to him, no one needs to protect women. Women have handled their affairs. What I need to do is to change my son. Yeah. If my son becomes a good human being, if my son becomes who I am, and I'm bold enough to say who I am, then there will be no need to protect your daughter. There'll be no need. So that for me is the most important thing, is that we create a society that's full of respect and understanding. You know, and we need also to change the language, because when I introduce my wife, I don't say this is my wife. I won't get dinner that evening. I have to say this is Mandy, and in the conversation you'll find out she's Mrs. Kani.
Yeah.
Because she's not the part of the things I own.
Yeah.
My car, my house, my dogs, my wife, my children. No, she's not on that list. She is a complete partner in this union that we've created. And she plays the leading role because I'm mostly not around to run this business called my family.
Okay, siyambonga ngalo msebenzi.
Thank you.
Okay, out of all the films that you've directed, which one is your favorite masterpiece?
Oh, the one that made more money. The problem with us as Africans, we are so modest that we are even afraid to say, I'm making it. I make money and I'm successful. Because Sabukuti, are you boasting or will God take it away?
Yeah.
But if you admit that I've made a lot of money through the movies I've made, I'm sure God will be pleased to say, there's an example, I helped that young person, is now achieving. And then you become like a role model and an example. The movies you make will always differ. Like the plays I've written, all about 15 of them, they're like my children. Each one of them serves a different purpose. But the ones that made a lot of money, like Captain America, like Black Panther, like Lion King, like the others, those are just money-making business in Hollywood. But when I come home and write plays like Nothing But the Truth, like plays like Missing, and work in movies that we create and do in this country, it's where I give of myself. It's my gratitude I show to the peers and my elders who pray for me to get me where I am.
Also, lastly, like, what advice can you give us, like, as Campus TV, this is my team, what advice can you give us as an upcoming, like, upgrowing media house?
There is no shortcut in life. It always leads in disaster. Please follow the process. Please be resilient. Please be determined. Head focused. Know what you're doing. Have a sense of where the destination is, where you can achieve. Please work very, very hard. And it's not think for tomorrow, it's think for the long run in your life. But I'm going to say this. If you are in this industry of the arts, let it be the only thing you've ever wanted to do. Do not go into this industry thinking that if it doesn't work, I can fall back on.
Yeah.
I call that a double negative, fall back. You know? So become an artist, become a director, become an editor, because it's the only thing you can do right, and it's the only thing you want, and you will reap the rewards. In our industry, you go on your knees and pray to God to give you the strength and guidance. When you say Amen, stand up and go make it happen. It's now all on you.
Okay, siyabulela tata ngexesha lakho, siyabulela nange advice osinike yona. Ixesha lakho elincinci sihambe nawe ecampus sikubonile uba ungumuntu ozithobile.
Thank you.
We are very humbled. Like awunguye like umuntu eba pha kwi-media eba le-celebrate uyazitshintsha ubuyena bakhe indlela yiyo, but ngawe sikubonile uba ungumuntu wabantu. You
have to be who you are. When you've achieved, you don't have to be wearing it as a badge.
Yeah.
We used to say in Hollywood, the number ones are fine because they've done it, they've got the t-shirt and they threw it away. And the wannabes that want to be seen as stars, they're still trying to see me. We've gone beyond that system. I'm 80 years old. Life is beautiful. I have grandchildren. I told my grandchild is 23, I said, don't have a child, boy. I don't want to be a great grandparent. But thank you very much to the whole crew and everybody.
Okay, siyabonga for ixesha lenu. Please catch Campus TV and Current News Affairs on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram. Thank you very much.
Thank you.